Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
This is BBC Television from London. Diana, Princess of Wales, has died after a car crash in Paris.
Terminal events.
Are we making inroads in the war on terror?
Well, we are, Kimberly. A slow and steady progress. You know, this is a 50-year war. There's not going to be any short...
PCs. You'll find something pretty amazing. The Intel Pentium processor. It gives PC software more life, more action, more energy.
Ladies and gentlemen of the board, I'd first like to thank you for coming to my presentation today. What you have just witnessed is the fact that podcasting has a major effect on popular culture, but what I'm here to propose to you today is that podcasting can also have a tremendous effect on education. The benefits to podcasting in education are endless. In a 2007 interview with Robert Craven, Educational Technology Coordinator for the Orange County Department of Education in California, he suggests that iPads allow you to integrate audio seamlessly into the curriculum, prevent information overload, students are able to learn at their own pace and reflect. ELL students also have those same benefits. That type of education is asynchronous and makes it extremely convenient. There's direct access to lecture and content information, and you can use music to set the stage and immediately jump in at any point in an audiobook or famous speech that you can access from the Library of Congress. There are a lot of conditions that made podcasting just perfect in the 1990s. For example, the invention of the internet radio. But it wasn't until 2001, when Apple introduced the iPod, that podcasting became a phenomenon. And in 2003, a gentleman by the name of Adam Curry, a VJ from MTV, decided to take a lot of the music files and converted them into RSS feeds. Podcasting did not stop there. In 2004, there was an explosion of podcasting networks. In 2005, podcasting received its biggest honor by becoming the Word of the Year. Also in 2005, Apple's iTunes caused a podcasting explosion. 2006, there were 17 million podcasts were being downloaded. And in 2010, a study showed that 37 million people were podcasting. The innovators of podcasting included a group of young men named David Weiner, who was a software developer, Adam Curry, the MTV VJ, and Tony Faddle, a computer science engineer. He was also the senior vice president of iPod in Apple. Early adapters were mostly males who were just interested in trying to figure out what the sports score was. Other early adapters included a group of young people who were interested in listening to music. Early adapters in education were college professors who wanted their students who were absent to be able to go online and listen to lectures. Let's take a look at other key demographics of podcast consumers. The Diffusion Group also did projections for podcasting. Let's look at that chart as well. Let's take a look at a young lady who's truly benefiting from the asynchronous interaction of podcasting. Hi, how are you doing? Do you mind if I sit with you and interview with you for a minute?
Oh, sure. I'm actually studying right now.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to ask you about. So, what kind of campus are you on?
Well, I attend Georgia State University, so I do get to go to college campus, but my professor uses podcasts. I'm so thankful that he does, because I wasn't feeling well in this class the other day. Now I can just go online and review the material. My professor is a huge advocate of using asynchronous interaction, like podcasts, because he believes that podcasts can improve cognitive understanding by increasing motivation and engagement.
Okay, so were you able to get all the material you needed? Did you feel like you were missing anything because you weren't in class?
Yes, actually. I wish all professors would consider using some form of asynchronous technology. The problem is that many professors don't feel comfortable using technology like this. And the truth of the matter is that if a professor is not comfortable using technology, then the technology won't be successful.
That's awesome. I'm so glad that you were able to get all of your work and use the podcast as another form of learning. So thank you so much for allowing me to sit down with you.
If it wasn't for the podcast, I would really be lost in class tomorrow.
All right. Well, thank you, Tiffany. I'm so glad I was able to talk to you.
Ah, no problem.
Early adapters were not just individuals. Duke University also wanted to see the benefits of podcasting and gave all of their first-year students an iPod. The results of that were that students did not depend on physical location for instruction. It was convenient, it promotes individualized instruction, and increased student engagement. Many educational leaders like Robert Craven and Duke University are deciding that iPods are a necessity in the classroom because administrators can record meetings, administer professional development activities, and keep contact of information for every student and faculty member in the district. But the real benefit is for the students, who can use iPods to count calories, record themselves reading, make podcasts, and even get to the moon. There were many developmental concerns in the beginnings of podcasting. For the first 2 years, there were very few users. Audio content prompted legal issues. Initially, recordings had very poor quality. There was limited training on the use of iPads and podcasting, until the invention of the iPod. The iPod was developed because there were way too many different ways of sharing media files. The iPod is a line of portable media players created and marketed by Apple. The old iPods acted almost as a storage unit, where you could access all of your files by scrolling through your radial dial. The new iPods are touchscreen and also include image files or pictures, videos, or anything else you want to store on your iPod. The iPod was such an amazing device that sales of the iPod skyrocketed as soon as iPods hit the stands. The iPod was able to eliminate the problem of having so many different versions of a media file. We could now just use the iPod. Unfortunately, the iPod has not had such popularity in the school system. How do we help the iPod and podcasting reach critical mass? Podcasting has reached critical mass in society because we do know that over 37 million individuals are using podcasting. However, it has not had such luck in the education realm. There are several things that we can do. We can find federal funding that will support the purchase of iPods. We can target highly respected individuals and get them to buy in. We can support the purchase of iPods with training and use iPods in a fun and engaging way for students. The causes of not being able to implement technology into the classroom is usually due to laggards. One of the worst of them all is the teacher who is scared to implement technology into their classroom. We can address those laggards by putting change agents into every school building. Change agents should be instructional technologists at the county level, the school building level, media specialists, and just curious teachers wanting to implement technology. It's not just the key change agents, but we can all work together to promote social change. Take a look at some of the bulleted points. Do you have people in your building who are able to promote social change and have everyone adopt this innovation? We must remember that it's not just an individual effort to promote social change. We need to develop a team of leaders whose purpose is to continue their education. The relationship between the team leaders, administration, school staff, and teachers is vital to the implementation and survival of any technology that enters into the building. We must make sure that that relationship stays positive and that communication lines are always open so teachers feel comfortable to address the needs, and those team leaders can implement the technology needed to address those needs. If you are still teetering on the fence and trying to determine whether or not this would be a good innovation for you and your school, let's help you make the decision. Why not adopt? If you use iPods, they're very easy to use and portable, and it allows anyone to do anytime, anywhere interaction. This is absolutely the best decision for your school. Your students will be able to receive the information that they learned at school at home and have time to process that information. Most homes have computers. Most individuals in almost all schools have access to the web. It's easy and quick downloads to music and information, and you offer individualized instruction. You may be wondering how to implement this type of technology into your school system. Well, the first thing is that you would be able to create a large variety of digital files where students will have access to all sorts of audio resources, and access of a wide variety of online resources as well as audiobooks and lectures. The school will become the forerunner of technology in education, and students will be able to receive immediate playback from any type of audio file. Confirmation that you've made the right decision is when you see all of your students become 21st century learners. The biggest compliment will be when you have a community of teachers, parents, and students who understand the learning goals and have access to that material online. They become involved in your school. I want to thank everyone for coming out to the presentation this evening. I am quite confident that you will make the correct decision. I will be taking questions after the presentation. Thank you, and you all have a wonderful day.